Your voices, your stories, helping you get your day started. 7 News Detroit This Morning at 6 starts now.
Breaking news now at 6. A man detained for questioning in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie now released. That man is now speaking out. We have the latest developments while you were sleeping.
Plus, a routine stop for gas takes a violent turn. Charges could come today in a fatal Detroit carjacking.
You gotta have some heart out here. Some type of, you feel me? Some respect for the elders.
We're hearing from a witness to that brutal attack.
And restore I-94. It's a massive project that I've been warning you about that will disrupt thousands of drivers a day. How you can learn more directly from MDOT today.
Well, good morning, and thank you so much for waking up with 7 News Detroit this morning. I'm Keenan Smith.
And I'm Allie Hoxie filling in for Alicia. After almost 3 weeks of frigid temperatures, the 40s yesterday felt like early spring.
Yeah, it felt fantastic, and there's no deep freeze, at least in the immediate future. Let's check in with 7 First Alert meteorologist Mike Taylor. Mike, are we looking for more normal type temperatures to stick around for a while?
Yeah, we are, and I hate to make it sound like that's a bad thing, but I guess after the taste of that we got yesterday, I guess it could be. And that's because it was nice to get a break from the deep freeze. We expect it to be cold, but sometimes it gets a little bit beyond that. Not the case today. I'm thinking our temps will be closer to average. 33 is the temperature out the door for downtown Detroit. Feeling like 25 because of those winds from the west-northwest at 10 miles an hour. We'll have a sustained wind primarily from the northwest, and that's going to be behind the boundary that's bringing in these cooler temperatures. Let's show you across Metro Detroit. 33 around Detroit and Grosse Pointe. 31 in Redford, Belleville at 33. 32 here at Broadcast House, Lake Orion at 30 degrees. This really runs right along that M59 corridor where temperatures will be closer to the freezing mark, but the further north and west that you go, you'll see those numbers dropping off more and more. So for the bus stop forecast, one of those weird days where it's actually a little bit milder than it will be for the ride home. But I will say it's quiet. We'll have a few clouds passing through. Be aware of some patchy ice, and that is because we've had some melting and it could refreeze later today.
All right, Mike, thank you. Taking a look right now at the morning drive and stop, slow, go. Conditions I have shaded in green. Everything looking good on our freeways. No major construction projects slowing you down today. Crashes I also have shaded in green. We do have one minor crash in the Warren area. Taking a look at our MDOT camera, westbound 696 off to the shoulder, the right shoulder near Van Dyke. We've got something happening here, but you can still see traffic getting by smoothly. Maybe just move over a lane or two.
All right, 6:02, and we turn to overnight breaking news in a story that has gripped people all across the country. The abduction of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today host Savannah Guthrie.
Now, last night, a person near Tucson was detained for questioning, and breaking overnight, we're learning that that person has been released.
Now, in a statement on social media, the Pima County Sheriff's Department says deputies detained a subject during a traffic stop. This happened in the small town of Rio Rico, not far from the Mexican border. Ford Hatchett, a reporter for Scripps News Group in Phoenix, got an exclusive interview with a man who says he was the one taken into custody. Take a listen.
Supposedly I was at her house, but like I said, I work delivering packages to GLS. I might have delivered a package to her house.
But didn't kidnap anybody?
No.
They have all this. They detain you. You're here for hours. And what did they just tell you?
That I'm free to go.
Free to go.
Yeah, and Pima County, they already cleared me, but the FBI, they might not or something like that.
Well, that man only identifies himself as Carlos, said he had not even heard about Nancy Guthrie, but adds he hopes she's found safe.
Now, the developments come as federal agents finally bypass the security encryption, revealing this chilling footage of a masked man at the front door of Nancy Guthrie's Tucson area home. Now, the video is around the same time that investigators believe she was abducted on February 1st. You can see he's wearing gloves and carrying a backpack. Authorities say he was even armed with a gun.
Savannah Guthrie posted the images to her Instagram account with the message, "We believe she is still alive. Bring her home." And someone out there recognizes this person. We believe she is still out there. Bring her home. There's no word yet from investigators as to why they thought this man might be connected with Guthrie's disappearance.
And we certainly hope she is brought home. Stick with 7 News Detroit on air and online as we continue to track every development in the search to bring Nancy Guthrie home.
Well, closer to home, we have more breaking news from overnight, this time from Taylor. A young child killed after being hit by a vehicle. Taylor police tell 7 News Detroit it happened on Eureka Road near the Pond Village Apartments. We're still waiting for more information from police who are investigating this crash.
We are awaiting charges in a deadly carjacking that happened in Detroit that police call vicious.
A man in his 60s was beaten, dragged, and then killed, with the thief stealing the victim's SUV in the process.
The random attack happened on Joy near Greenfield on Detroit's west side. And this morning, we are hearing from a man who actually witnessed the violence.
7 News Detroit reporter Christiana Ford joins us live from outside the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office as he recounts the terrifying attack. Christiana?
It's something so common, so many of us do, going to get gas, and that is exactly what happened. Only this time, that errand ended in a man losing his life, and it all happened at a Sunoco gas station at Joy Road and Prevost. Detroit police have a 25-year-old suspect in custody for what they are describing as a vicious attack and carjacking of a man in his 60s. But we are waiting to find out whether that person will be formally arraigned for the crime. We spoke to a man who saw the whole thing go down at the gas station 4:30 Tuesday morning. He did not want to be identified.
As I go into the gas station, I hear a thump, 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 and I look and I see a guy. It appears that he's stomping ice or snow off of his car, so I don't pay too much attention to it. And then I look and I see a guy on the ground. At that point, I say, this don't look right. I turn around, run into the gas station, and tell the clerk to call the police.
Police say that suspect slipped into the victim's vehicle while he was inside paying for gas. Police were able to track down that suspect and stop him about a mile away from the scene, and he's now in their custody. We're now waiting to find out more details from the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office about potential charges. We're live in Detroit. Christiana Ford, 7 News Detroit this morning.
And of course, our hearts go out to the victim and their family. Just absolutely heartbreaking. Christiana, thank you.
Well, a federal judge is dismissing a lawsuit by the Trump administration seeking sensitive personal information for millions of Michigan voters. The Department of Justice had demanded Michigan's full electronic voter list without redactions for personal sensitive information. That would include dates of birth, driver's license number, social security numbers, and personal ID card numbers. The Justice Department argued it had a right to the unredacted list under federal civil rights and voting laws, but the judge rejected those arguments, ruling that Michigan's electronic voters list is not subject to disclosure under those federal statutes.
Well, if you live in communities like Allen Park, Romulus, or Dearborn, you have another chance to learn about a major construction project along I-94 that's kicking off this year. I first told you about the Restore I-94 project last week, and even if you head to the airport, listen up to this one. Work will take place east of I-275 and span all the way to Schaefer, just west of Michigan Avenue. We are talking nearly 13 miles of construction. The project includes the rebuilding of the E-course and I-94 interchange, and later this year, traffic will go down to 2 lanes with a traffic shift. Drivers I spoke to last week tell me they are already preparing for the extra traffic headaches.
Well, it's going to make getting around pretty difficult, that's for sure.
How is this I-94 project going to slow you down?
Traffic, time, it's like a long time out here. It's going to add extra time to the travel.
Today's meeting to learn more about the project directly from MDOT is taking place at Taylor City Hall. It's going to be from 4 until 6 tonight.
All right, time now is 6:08. And look, we know every neighborhood has its stories, and we want to hear yours. 7 News Detroit is bringing our Let's Talk series to Macomb County tonight.
We'll be at the Engine House in Mount Clemens from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Ready to listen. It's your chance to share what's going on where you live. We're talking the good, the bad, and everything in between. Bring your questions, your concerns, and your ideas. Mike?
We'll see temperatures trying to bounce back too, but it's going to be delayed. We'll talk about when we can get the 40s back in here and if there's any rain in the forecast.
All right, Mike, thank you. We have one minor crash off to the shoulder westbound 696 at Van Dyke in Warren. Overall, things are moving along smoothly on our freeways.
Time now 6:09. 2 firefighters who battled blazes together turned their brotherhood into a business.
So he kind of took me under his wing and kind of taught me everything he knows.
Why he says his restaurant wouldn't be what it is today without his friend. Plus,
I'm John Matteries. A lot of people think that unclaimed funds is like grabbing money falling from the sky, but I'll explain why collecting those unclaimed funds might be tougher than you think.
You're watching 7 News Detroit, part of the Scripps News Group.
The time right now is 6:12. Here's a check of today's top stories. 7 people are dead and around 25 others are injured after an active shooter opened fire at a 7 through 12 school in Canada's British Columbia. Now, police say they found 2 others killed at a nearby home and believe that the shootings are connected. The suspected shooter is dead from what is believed to be a self-inflicted injury. This is Canada's deadliest school shooting since 1989.
Well, new overnight, the FAA says it's halting all flights to and from El Paso International Airport until February 20th. The agency is closing the airspace from that part of Texas to a nearby area of southern New Mexico. The FAA is citing special security reasons for the restriction.
The FDA is rejecting Moderna's mRNA flu trial application, saying that it lacked an adequate and well-controlled trial. Moderna called the decision stunning and has asked for meetings with the FDA. The Department of Health and Human Services has previously criticized mRNA technology.
Well, righty pitcher Justin Verlander is returning to play for the Tigers for the first time since he was traded back in 2017 to the Astros. The team says it's a 1-year, $13 million guaranteed contract. Verlander was a 6-time All-Star in Detroit, helping the team to 5 playoff appearances during his 12 seasons with the Tigers. All right, are you trying to make your paycheck go farther? Oh, you're not alone. But 1 in 7 of us actually have cash or property waiting to be claimed. That's roughly 13 million people. This morning, Scripps News Group consumer reporter John Matteries has a look at where you should turn to for that money and how to get it so you don't waste your money.
Wouldn't it be great if money just fell from the sky? The closest thing is unclaimed funds, money that's yours that was lost or forgotten. Now, some funds are easy to claim. Other times, you have to ask yourself, was it worth the effort?
You may have heard stories of people finding big money in unclaimed funds. Guitar teacher Michael Horrigan found more than $600 without much work.
It's a lot of money.
But sometimes people hit a wall.
This is my mom, and that's one of the death certificates I had to get.
Dave Zellner tried to collect several $1,000s after his sister died in 2024.
I'd have to get her father's death certificate, her uncle's death certificate.
What he thought would be a simple process turned into months of tracking down death certificates and records.
I had to send up my Social Security card and my driver's license.
Signed and notarized.
Signed and notarized.
Everything.
Yeah.
Financial experts say it's always worth checking for unclaimed funds.
So it's going to be old paycheck, it's forgotten bank account.
There's so many monies that we're paying all the time. It's easy to lose track and we forget to claim it.
But you'll need documents to prove who you are. Financial advisor Casey Hayden recommends keeping relatives' info on hand.
Start collecting all of the old past addresses, any place that they've lived, old IDs.
Tessie Santiago of the Bank of Texas says you should never have to pay to get your funds.
There's people that they're going to help you. They're going to charge you a fee. But, people get taken advantage of all the time.
Start with missingmoney.com or your state treasurer's website. In the end, Zellner says it was worth it.
I was going to make them do it. I wasn't going to give in at that point.
Just know it could be more work than you expect, so you don't waste your money. John Mattery, Scripps News Group.
All right, John, thank you. Well, last October, our Alicia Smith spoke to the Better Business Bureau of Michigan about a circulating unclaimed funds scam. It features a voicemail indicating that you have unclaimed funds or a relief check waiting for you. But in reality, a scammer is trying to get your personal or even your financial information.
People were getting a voice message from someone named Dan every time. It was someone named Dan, and he said that they had approximately $5,286 in unclaimed funds, and they just needed to go to myreliefcheck.com. And then once they go there, it was automatically a redirect. Anytime you are contacted and told that you have some sort of refund or any money claimed, the safest, best thing you can do contact the business directly.
All right, some good advice there. A common thread with this scam, they'll tell you that you won't get your money unless you follow their instructions, like give all your personal or financial information to them. If you think that you've been targeted in a payment on hold scam, notify the payment platform and contact your bank.
All right, time now is 6:17 as we take this live look over Southfield this morning. We have clouds out there, but unlike previous mornings, not a lot of snow, not just in the air, but on the ground. We did a lot of snow melting yesterday. 7 First Alert meteorologist Mike Taylor will let us know if we're going to melt some snow today as well.
Hey, you know what? I think today is going to be a day to look out for some of that melting snow because it could refreeze. Temperatures are going away from those 45-degree highs that we had just yesterday. Now they're going down into the 30s. Layers will be needed at the bus stop, and that is especially for today because it's not going to be as nice as your Tuesday was. 33 is the temp out the door. So for the outdoor numbers, we're saying that it's 33, but it's going to feel like the 20s because of those winds from the west-northwest, about 10 to 20 miles an hour. And we'll hold steady at about 32 for the ride home. So that is a cooler feel after those nice 40s that we just experienced. And I will call for a repeat. So those same layers will be needed for tomorrow's bus stop as well, because conditions are not going to improve all that much numbers wise. We'll be in the 20s this time around by this time tomorrow. So, of course, the kids need the heavier coats. We'll see highs only climbing to the low 30s. Lots of cloud cover will build as well after a brighter start to the day. And be on the lookout for some ice on the sidewalk as well as the parking lots because melting all that snow, there's still some puddles and ponds out there that could refreeze now that we're going down into temperatures below the freezing mark. But here's a headline. Lighter jackets will be needed starting Friday going into next week. For the first time in a while, I actually have more 40s than 30s in the 7-day forecast. The cooler air we're dealing with right now should retreat, and it's going to be replaced by a milder setup, and the pattern does support this to hold steady or remain sustained for multiple days, just not 1 day or 2 days like we experienced just yesterday. I'll show you what I mean. In your 7-day forecast, we have temps near the freezing mark, closer to average for your Wednesday. Thursday at 30, and then look what happens. Starting Friday, we'll climb to about 39. I think the 40s will be here as early as Saturday, and we'll continue that warming trend going into next week with temps averaging in the 40s for the first time in quite a while. Allie?
All right, Mike, thank you. Hey, if you're heading towards downtown Detroit or even out of Detroit, listen up. We have some work happening on the Lodge. So from Washington up to West Grand Boulevard, we're going to have the left lane closed both southbound and northbound here. That will leave 2 lanes open, trying to work around any type of rush hour traffic. So it's happening from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. A live look now at the morning drive. This is I-96 in Inkster. No major crashes slowing you down so far this morning.
All right, thank you so much, Allie. Time now is 6:20. Classroom cell phone ban. We'll go over new legislation in Lansing and what it means for your family. Plus, I'm highlighting a study on the mental health impact of smartphone use by children and young teens. And a chance meeting is leading to something really special. How a Super Bowl trip for a Lions fan is getting attention from the team. Well, a chance encounter at Super Bowl 60 between 2 Lions fans and a reality TV star has gone viral for all the right reasons.
Daniel Brinker and his brother-in-law, Harry Schroeder, made their very first trip to the Super Bowl wearing Lions jerseys. Their Detroit pride caught the attention of Bachelorette alum Jason Tartick and his girlfriend, Catherine Hurley, a Plymouth native. After learning Schroeder is battling terminal cancer, Tartick posted their interaction on social media.
And we came up with the idea of like, why don't we put something just on social media, tell this story. This part gets me because they don't know if like he'll be around for a Super Bowl with the Lions in it, and see if we could get people to rally behind the Detroit Lions doing something for Harry.
Well, that video already has more than 1 million views, and the Lions plan to give Schroeder and Brinker new jerseys and a private stadium tour tomorrow.
I just don't ever know how I'm going to ever repay you or give you enough thanks, Daniel.
Oh my gosh, I love it. This just goes to show that a simple hello and a little bit of Detroit pride can really bring a lot of people together.
Yeah, really, really special. And, you know, just a chance encounter thousands of miles away, you know, but the Honolulu Blue bringing folks together.
Absolutely. Got to get some signed jerseys during that meeting.
No doubt. I'm sure they will. And hopefully we'll hear an update after they actually engage, actually do the tour. So well, fingers crossed for that. Time now 6:24, and it's time to see what's coming up later on this morning on Good Morning America.
Ginger Z is live in New York with a preview. Good morning, Ginger.
Keenan, Allie, it's great to be with you. So coming up, of course, we're going to start with the new developments overnight in the search for Nancy Guthrie, as authorities question a person that they detained and search a new location just hours after the first images were released of that armed, masked man at her front door. Retired FBI agent Brad Garrett breaks down the investigation. And a new study on the benefits of exercise in helping with depression and anxiety. And there are certain types that work best. Dr. Narula is going to break it down. And medal-worthy mom strength. We spoke to some of the moms going for gold at the Olympics. Also, the stars of the new Ryan Murphy series, FX's Love Story, are here live. We've got Paul Anthony Kelly and Sarah Pidgeon to talk about portraying John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. And you'll see it all on GMA.
All right, a big show just half an hour away. Ginger, we will see you then.
Time right now is 6:25. Detroiters and Canadians reacting to the president's threats to delay the Gordie Howe International Bridge opening.
This morning, we're getting perspectives from multiple stakeholders and highlighting new reports about a meeting this week between the owner of the Ambassador Bridge and the White House.
Plus, from the firehouse in Detroit to the engine house in Mount Clemens, two firefighters band together to open a spot for all.
Quality food, quality service, and that'll get you through a lot. So,
how this restaurant is carrying on a storied legacy.
Your voices, your stories, helping you get your day started. You're watching 7 News Detroit this morning.
Breaking overnight, a new turn in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Investigators say they detained and released a person of interest. The latest developments in the search.
Plus, bridge battle. It is a story that has so many people talking. President Donald Trump threatening to block the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge.
Taken a long time for the bridge to get built, and if he delays it, he delays it, but he's not going to prevent it.
Where this international issue stands this morning.
And Governor Whitmer signing off on a school cell phone ban. We know that so many teachers, students, and parents have big thoughts on this, what the ban means for your child. Well, good morning, and thank you so much for waking up with 7 News Detroit this morning at 6:30. I'm Keenan Smith.
And I'm Allie Hoxie filling in for Alicia. Of course, we've got a lot of news to get to today, but a lot of people are also talking about the weather. I saw so many people walking outside yesterday.
Oh, yeah, and that's because the weather's been pretty nice as of late. We're talking about these temperatures rebounding, getting back into the 40s, but that's going to be delayed into the later portion of the week. Thinking Friday into the weekend will do it. For today, we'll call it a minor setback. You're going to need pretty much everything that you'll need to stay warm. Talking about the hat, gloves, scarf, and also those winter coats. Snow boots as well will be recommended, mainly because even though we didn't pick up any fresh snow, we had a lot of melting, temperatures going back near freezing. We could have some slick spots and some patchy ice out there on the sidewalk as well as the parking lots. Temperature trend shows that we are trending cooler, but still fairly mild. Remember, the warm-up happened during the afternoon, so our morning is still pretty much warm for this time of year, talking about 8 to 10 degrees above where we were just yesterday. So that's above freezing for the moment. 33 in Detroit. Those winds are from the west-northwest at 15. That is creating just enough of a wind chill, however, so just be aware of that. We're at 30 in Port Huron, Pontiac at 30, Howell at 32, and up near Lapeer at 30, and you're also holding steady with those 30s. That primarily goes for areas near Monroe. So we're looking good in that regard. Your bus stop forecast will have us climbing, or I should say falling. We're at 32 right now, but while most of the kids get out and about, temps return down into the 20s, and I believe today and tomorrow we'll have that traditional February feel with numbers around the freezing mark. It's after tomorrow we start the recovery and those 40s return. Coming up, we'll let you know how long they stick around in just a bit. Allie?
All right, Mike, thank you. Taking a look at Stop, Slow, Go. Crashes I have shaded in green. We have some very minor fender benders out there, like westbound 696 and Van Dyke, something off to the shoulder, but you're really just moving along just fine in terms of crashes. No major construction slowing us down. That's also shaded in green. Conditions shaded in green as well. It's a really good morning commute to kick off a Wednesday. Let's go ahead and take a look at I-94 in Harper. Everything moving along smoothly here. I'll let you know if I do see anything that does slow you down.
Well, we do want to get to some breaking news from overnight. Investigators in the Nancy Guthrie abduction detained, questioned, and then released a person of interest.
Now, this is just the latest twist in the search for the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the developments that happened while you were sleeping.
This morning, the person who says he was detained for questioning in connection with the abduction of Nancy Guthrie has now been released. Investigators focusing on the small town of Rio Rico just south of Tucson, Arizona. Descending upon this home where a court-authorized search was completed overnight, but still no apparent sign of Nancy Guthrie. A woman claiming to be the homeowner spoke with our ABC affiliate KNXV, saying someone called in a tip reporting Guthrie was there.
I don't know who she is. I don't know anything about her. They only said that they gave a tip that she was in my house. And I told them, you can go in and search my house. There's nobody there. I have nothing to hide.
She told reporters her son-in-law was the person detained by police, identifying the vehicle in a picture and saying he's a delivery driver in Tucson, but insisting he had nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
Detaining people while you're doing a search is not uncommon.
It comes hours after the FBI released new images of a masked man approaching Nancy Guthrie's home the night she was abducted. The video showing the suspect appearing in the entranceway, slowly walking towards the front door, his face covered by a ski mask, wearing gloves and carrying a backpack. Authorities say he was armed with a gun on his waistband.
There was a lot to look at in that video. You were able to see the eyes to a degree. You were able to see how tall approximately how tall he was, approximately what his build was like. All of those indications will help somebody identify that person.
Savannah Guthrie quickly sharing those images on social media, writing, quote, "Someone out there recognizes this person. We believe she is still out there. Bring her home." And sources told ABC News the Guthrie family was shown these images before they were made public and did not recognize the man. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
All right, Nicole, thank you. Stick with 7 News Detroit on air and online as we continue to track every development in the search to bring Nancy Guthrie home.
Well, now to new developments in the battle over the Gordie Howe International Bridge. This is a story that can have real consequences for both sides of the border.
A New York Times article is shedding light on a closed-door meeting between the owner of the Ambassador Bridge and the U.S. Commerce Secretary. The Times is reporting that the meeting came just hours before President Donald Trump threatened to block the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge.
Now, President Trump says he will withhold border staffing until Canada hands over 50% stake in the Gordie Howe project that's already jointly owned by Michigan and Canada. This morning, 7 News Detroit reporter Brittany Toulis is providing the total perspective of neighbors, businesses, and leaders from both Michigan and Canada on the economic impact on both sides of the border.
She joins us now live from the Gordie Howe Bridge in southwest Detroit. Brittany?
Allie Keenan, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney gave some insight Tuesday into talks he had with President Donald Trump following Trump's Monday social media post. The Prime Minister calling it an overall positive conversation, but people living on both sides of this border wanting to use the Gordie Howe International Bridge for fun or commerce are still hoping they get the chance to.
It's so frustrating because especially a lot of the customers are frustrated.
Lynette Waske manages Mott's Burgers in southwest Detroit. Since work on the Gordie Howe International Bridge started, customers are mainly construction crews. And if the crossing opens,
we're hoping it picks up. We have a lot of people that come actually over from Canada, and they're waiting to go across that bridge.
Lynette and Detroiter Matt Saxe hoping the second link between the countries does open after President Donald Trump threatened on social media to block the Gordie Howe's opening that's expected later this year.
Crossing the border is an ordeal sometimes.
That Truth Social post coming on the heels of a closed-door meeting between the Department of Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and the Ambassador Bridge's owner Matthew Maroon, per the New York Times. The Ambassador Bridge's website calls it North America's #1 international crossing, with $323 million in goods moving across the border. The Gordie Howe's 6 lanes will relieve some of that traffic. The Maroon family taking legal action several times to stop the Gordie Howe from going up.
It's the largest and maybe only privately owned international bridge.
Canadians weighing in on Trump's Truth Social post.
I would rather not deal with America. I don't know. It's all about business. It's all about money.
I think it's just
I don't know, it's like a temper tantrum.
I don't think he can stop it. He changes the game plan every day.
Canada funded will operate and maintain the Gordie Howe. It's jointly owned by Canada and Michigan, but the Trump administration demands owning at least half.
It's just insane when I read that post.
The bridge was built with organized labor, union labor on both sides of the bridge. It is a really important part of our economy, the largest crossing in North America. And so it is important that it continues to move forward and open up on time, and that's my expectation.
Now, the big question with all this is, can President Donald Trump actually stop the Gordie Howe International Bridge from opening? A legal expert tells 7 News Detroit that in theory, he can, and it's by initiating a rescinding process. That expert saying the president can do so because they're both the head of the State Department and the Coast Guard, but that expert also saying it's an unlikely move. It has big implications for this area. Keenan and Allie, and we will be following this very closely. For now, live in Southwest Detroit, I'm Brittany Tulis for 7 News Detroit this morning.
Yeah, huge implications for Southwest Detroit that had to suffer through all of that construction, all of Metro Detroit and the entire state of Michigan. We will be watching it closely. Thank you so much, Brittany.
Well, Governor Gretchen Whitmer will present her final state budget today. She will outline her recommendations for the fiscal year 2027 to lawmakers at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The presentation will take place before a joint session of the House and Senate Appropriations Committee at the state capitol. This marks Whitmer's last budget proposal before her second and final term in office.
Well, soon, Michigan students will have to put their phones away in the classroom. Governor Whitmer signed a bipartisan bill aiming to cut down on classroom distractions. Now, each school district will have to create their own plan to limit cell phone use during class time. Now, these bans are a hot topic with parents, teachers, and of course, students. But there is research out there that say this could be a good idea for our kids. I want to take a moment to highlight a study from the Journal of Human Development and Capabilities that finds that children who get smartphones before the age of 13 may have worse mental health outcomes as young adults. Researchers surveyed more than 100,000 young adults, both young men and young women, reported feelings of lower self-image and lower self-worth. And nearly half of young women who had smartphones by the age of 5 or 6 reported having suicidal thoughts. It's recommended that parents restrict cell phone use and social media use for all kids under the age of 13.
Well, we have a bizarre update on a tip jar theft that we first told you about last week. You might remember this woman in this video swiping the jar right off of the hostess stand at Mr. Miguel's Mexican Grill in Warren. But over the weekend, a mysterious brown bag was found at the front door. The jar was not only back, it was upgraded with sparkling paper and a remote-controlled LED light. The thief even included a 2-page apology note along with some extra cash.
I deposited twice as much into the new and improved container, and I also installed the brand new LED light that comes with a remote control. Please don't ban me. The food was really, really good. Sincerely, Swiper.
All right, maybe she's turning over a new leaf. The restaurant has decided not to press any charges. 6:40 is the time right now. Another shutdown showdown.
Yeah, it's kind of feeling like Groundhog Day in Washington, D.C. The key issue at the center of the stalemate. Plus,
well, it's a bar and restaurant just about to celebrate 20 years in the Mount Clemens community. We're learning about the friendship behind it. Brought up by brotherhood, sharpened by the blade of loss that built the engine house.
And we'll see temperatures trying to get back to the 40s later this week, but it's a cooler setback. We'll see these numbers in the 30s today and tomorrow. We'll let you know the big changes and swings on the way.
All right, Mike, thank you. Taking a look at the morning drive from I-275 and 8 Mile near the Trinity Sports Dome. Everything is moving along smoothly. No major crashes out on our freeways right now.
My name's Cargo, and I'm from Wixom, Michigan. Good morning, Detroit.
The time right now is 6:44. Here's a check of today's top stories. Lawmakers remain deadlocked ahead of Friday's Department of Homeland Security funding deadline. Democrats say they've delivered legislative text with 10 ICE reform demands. Republicans offered a counterproposal, but Democrats say they've already rejected that proposal earlier this week. Without a deal, DHS agencies like the TSA, the Coast Guard, and FEMA could face a partial shutdown.
Well, American consumers are defaulting on loans at the highest rate in nearly a decade. The Federal Reserve reports that average household debt rose 1% in the fourth quarter of 2025, but the loan default rate on everything from mortgages to credit cards rose nearly 5%.
Well, the party will ramp up in Seattle today. The Seahawks will host their Super Bowl parade. Seattle added a second Lombardi trophy to the display case with a 29-13 victory over the New England Patriots this last Sunday. Today's parade starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
Well, we know every neighborhood has its stories, and we want to hear yours. That's why 7 News Detroit is taking our Let's Talk series to Macomb County tonight at the Engine House in Mount Clemens.
It is a restaurant with a storied history, nearly 20 years in the making. We are talking about 2 longtime Detroit firefighters who decided to turn their brotherhood into a business. The Engine House pays tributes to their days in the firehouse.
And this morning, 7 News Detroit reporter Jeffrey Lindblom is speaking with the owner who says the Engine House wouldn't be what it is today without his dear friend.
John and Greg served alongside one another as Detroit firefighters for many years. Then, almost 20 years ago, they went into business as friends here at the Mount Clemens Engine House.
Quality food, quality service, and that'll get you through a lot. So
Greg Sassoy says that advice comes from his friend, colleague, and business partner, John Guzmano.
yeah, he was always take care of the customer. Service is everything.
Sassoy started his career in '88, 16 years after Guzmano, the man who became his mentor both battling blazes and in the bar biz.
So he kind of took me under his wing and kind of taught me everything he knows.
Around the bar, you can see firefighting memorabilia and tributes to fallen firefighters, men he calls a part of his brotherhood, his friend Guzmano among them.
Yeah, it was during COVID. He died of COVID, actually, so in December of 2020. So, yeah, it was tough. He was a great guy, big heart. If you needed a hand, if you needed help, he was always there for you.
The two gutted the space that you see here together, building the bar and restaurant that you see now, serving drinks, pouring beers, and bringing out food to smiling family and friends, using hoses that spray soda, not burning buildings. But it turns out being a firefighter and a bar owner does have a bit of crossover outside of just this decor.
Taking care of people. You know, you want to do the best job you can do, make everyone happy.
Sassoy hung up his jacket 3 years ago, and I asked him if he found some reprieve during his 15 years wearing both a first responder and a hospitality hat, getting away from the dangers of duty at his bar. But he says it was quite the opposite.
I never considered it work. It was always like fun going to the firehouse, so kind of a day off.
Nowadays, he says he still puts out small fires, just the slightly different service-centric kind.
Every day putting out little fires.
Plus, he says the guys still come by and they'll give him a hard time every now and again.
It could be trying sometimes. It's like old times again, every time they come in.
So to this day, he's still putting out those small fires and still serving the public in some capacity, which makes him very happy. This is the Engine House in Mount Clemens, and I'm Jeffrey Lindblom for 7 News Detroit.
All right, Jeffrey, thank you. Don't miss your chance to speak up. Join us at the Engine House in Mount Clemens today from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. for our Let's Talk series.
Well, your ideas and your voice can help shape the future of our community. So stop by, speak your mind, and be a part of the conversation. We'll see you tonight at the Engine House, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m.
And we've been talking a lot about firefighters dealing with a lot of cold weather, the water freezing, working in those really bad conditions. But all those firefighters and us are getting a little bit of a break.
Getting a break, the construction workers, they're going to be, So I guess that's a good and bad thing, which you can attest to. That means they're going to get back out there as the weather tries to break. And I think we're going to get much nicer in that Super 7-day forecast, something we'll address for you. Sunrise at 7:35 this morning, sunset now, it's after 6 p.m. So we're getting those later evenings. Is moving in. So we're getting started here as we start to turn the corner with winter as we get closer to spring. 32 is the high temp that we're forecasting for today. We've already been, numbers that is, above freezing, and that was earlier this morning. That's why the morning temperature is higher than what we're forecasting, because this is one of those days where the numbers will actually be trending in the other direction. You can see that playing out in real time. 30 in Flint, while you're at 33 in Detroit, 34 in Windsor, and that air mass moving in from the west-northwest will continue to cool us down. We're also watching some snow develop. Some of this could actually clip by us. If that comes together, that too will sneak in here later on, and that's expected to be mainly north of Detroit. Let's talk about the numbers. Unlike yesterday's 40s, today and tomorrow we're going to be in the 30s. Thinking we'll hold steady around 32 degrees during the afternoon. So for the kids at the bus stop, just make sure they're prepared for the colder temperatures after that treat yesterday. Tonight, cold conditions clearing a little bit. Numbers return to the 20s. This is cold, but where we should be for this time of year, give or take. And therefore, we could see some refreezing. There's still some wet pavement out there on the sidewalks, the parking lots, with numbers down into the 20s. We could have some patchy ice. That goes for tomorrow morning as well. We'll start off in the 20s and the teens in some spots. Highs will only reach the low 30s around the freezing mark. So it is a cold fill, but that is not the theme of this Super 7-day forecast. One thing I'll let you know, cold today and tomorrow, but look what happens as early as Friday. We'll get highs around 39 degrees, and that is the start. That's going to be our return to those above average temperatures. Look at the colder air retreating completely. The pattern's going to support milder air surging in. It starts Friday, but you'll feel the change throughout the weekend and into next week. We're talking about numbers in the mid-40s and tracking rain next Tuesday.
All right, Mike, thank you. Well, if you attend Oakland University, maybe you work there, listen up. We have some work on I-75 that could slow you down. So both directions of I-75 in Auburn Hills, the right lane is going to be closing down at University Drive. You'll still have 3 lanes open, but I always like giving you the heads up. This is happening today, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. A live look now at the roads, a peek at one of our MDOT cameras. This is I-94 in Caddo. A little bit of stop and go traffic here in the westbound lanes. We had something off into the shoulder, slowing us down just a tad, but the good news is that crash has cleared.
Well, tomorrow morning, we're highlighting Asian markets across Metro Detroit that are worth a try, and you might find better deals there for some items than you can find at your local grocery store. You won't want to miss that story. It's tomorrow morning on 7 News Detroit at 6. You're watching 7 News Detroit at 6. Our time now is 6:54, and here's a look at what to watch on this Wednesday morning. A person detained last night in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today host Savannah Guthrie, was released overnight. That man told Scripps News Group's KNXV that he had not even heard about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, but he hopes she's found safe. Police have not made any other arrests in her disappearance.
Also breaking overnight, a young child has died after being hit by a car in Taylor. Police say it happened on Eureka Road near the Pond Village Apartments. We're still waiting to learn more information from police as they continue to investigate the crash.
Well, charges could be filed today in a deadly carjacking at a gas station on Detroit's west side. A man in his 60s was beaten, dragged, and killed yesterday morning, and his SUV was stolen. Detroit police have a 25-year-old suspect in custody. Stay with 7 News Detroit and WXYZ.com for the latest.
The Restore I-94 project kicks off this year, and you can learn more about the project today. Nearly 13 miles of work will be taking place, starting east of I-275 all the way to Schaefer, just west of Michigan Avenue. MDOT is holding an informational meeting for you today from 4 to 6 p.m. at Taylor City Hall.
Well, today, Governor Gretchen Whitmer will present her final state budget. She'll present that measure before a joint session of the House and Senate Appropriations Committee at the state capitol at 1 this afternoon. This will be the governor's last budget proposal before her second and final term expires.
And highs will climb to about 32 degrees, so it's going to be colder today and tomorrow. We rebound for your Friday as temps climb into the upper 30s. The 40s are back for the weekend, and I think they'll stick around into next week as well.
Let's take a check at the morning drive one last time. 696 in Van Dyke. We did have a crash here off to the shoulder. Some good news, that has cleared. I am not seeing any crashes slowing you down as part of your Wednesday commute right now.
All right, time now is 6:56, and tomorrow on 7 News Detroit this morning, the jury is set in the trial of Dale Warner. And tomorrow we're going to hear from Dee Warner's brother before those opening statements get underway.
All right, looking forward to what he has to say. Good Morning America is next here on 7, and the three of us will be heading over to TV 20 Detroit. We'll have 2 hours of local news over there for you this morning.
That's right. Have a great day. Stay warm because we're going to see colder temperatures for a couple of days, but we rebound into the weekend.
Looking forward to that rebound.
And for the weekend, too, Mike's trying to win friends and influence people.
Got to put money in the tip jar.
I see what you're trying to do. Where is that tip jar? I might have some money for it.
I'm going to go find it.
Take care. Have a great day.